Alright, what's up? This is Nathaniel from the Spread Effect Show. On this show, I'm talking to my homie, Kevin Kaiser. He is the marketing manager for suretybonds.com, a company I helped co-found. So he's someone I've known for quite some time. He's actually my wife's cousin. Little, incestual is the wrong word. What is it where you give benefits to your family members? I can't remember. Anyway, Kevin's on today. He knows a ton about SEO. He's done a lot of work in the post-Penguin, post-Panda world that I think will be interesting for everyone to hear about, specifically with on-site changes and content cleanup. We got dinged a little bit there, and it was not anything we were doing off-site. It was a lot of things on-site that we thought we had right. We had a pretty clean page, pretty clean pages, clean site, well-structured site, but there were actually some things we needed to change. Kevin's done a lot of work on that in the last year and a half, and helped bring back a lot of traffic. Also interesting about Kevin is he is a Renaissance man and a multitasker extraordinaire. He is a full-time dental student near the top of his class at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, on the road to becoming an orthodontist, yet he still has time to be the marketing director for a couple $1 million startup that generates all of its business from the web. So how does he pull that off? I don't know, but I'm impressed, and we talk about that a lot in the interview. I hope you guys enjoy it with me and Kevin Kaiser. Enjoy! Welcome back to another edition of the Spread Effect Show. My name is Nathaniel Broad, and I am joined today by Kevin Kaiser. He is the self-proclaimed marketing manager of suretybonds.com, a company I helped found, and we've been working together for 4 or 5 years. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. Nice to be on. Thanks for having
Kevin
me.
is also a full-time dental student at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. What's their mascot there?
The kangaroos.
Kangaroos. The
We're the roos.
purple kangaroos, right?
Yeah. All right. I think we're blue.
A
Blue and yellow.
The blue and yellow kangaroos. Very
Yeah.
nice. So there's your first tidbit of information today as we sit down with Kevin. I wanted to have Kevin on because he's pretty much grown suretybonds.com from scratch, from when we obtained the domain and started doing a little bit of on-site stuff, and we had pretty much nothing in 2009, all the way up to now, where we're one of the leading surety bond producers in the nation, the fastest growing surety bond agency, I think, of all time, possibly, I've heard,
Yeah.
and all that through the web. So it's kind of a cool success story, and a lot of it has depended on online marketing, and he's been kind of the brainchild of a lot of that. So we're going to talk about that experience, growing that business, building it up from scratch, link building, on-site content, and then especially like what happened with Panda and Penguin, how it affected the company, and then a few other cool tidbits that we're going to dive into. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin. So when you first came on, I know with Plus One and Surety Bonds stuff, Surety Bonds wasn't much of a site back then. We might have had it designed. We might have had a little content up. What was the strategy from going from completely unknown site with a good domain name, at least, and then starting to actually pull in traffic and pull in leads? Like, what was a little of the early things that you did and you think that we did right?
Yeah. I think I came on in '09 in January, and we were working on a different website at that time. And the thing then to get links was to buy them still,
Right.
even in '09. And then I guess in the middle of the year, we started Surety Bonds, and you gave me kind of the reins to run with that. And right about then, it was when buying links was really becoming out of practice and really frowned upon. So we actually, my first goal was to start link building for the company and to do it all natural. I didn't get any budget to buy links or anything. So I mainly focused on a lot of guest blogging, outreach through those means and through email and connecting with bloggers and writing blog posts for their sites. And that really helped out a lot. We've worked that. We still do that to this day.
Right.
Obviously, after Penguin, our linking strategy in the guest posts kind of changed up a bit. But that was basically what gave us the early success. Surety isn't a hugely competitive niche online, but there's some good players in the space, and but there's some bad ones too. So it wasn't too hard. It wasn't too hard to just focus on some of the on-site stuff. I know I think for the first 6 months I didn't really touch the on-site stuff, and then I finally read enough and felt comfortable where I was like, hey, I'm going to go through all our title tags and change all those and change our meta descriptions and H1 tags. And in '09, late '09, 2010, all that stuff worked. It gave us all #1 spots, and our traffic just started exploding. And then again, with the Penguin Panda updates, you got to evolve. So we've been working on evolving through that. But yeah, that was our early success. Just exact match title tags, link building through guest post, and yeah, that's where we started.
Cool. Yeah, I know. I mean, being along for the ride, I can certainly, remember all those things happening, and it certainly worked really well. I mean, we would notice a lot of like Google Suggest terms that we could just build out pages for, clean
Yeah,
pages. I think Surety's always had a very like clean URL structure and clean site structure. I think maybe one of the specifics we could talk about, and this hops right into like Post Penguin, is that general page layout that we've always had that was probably a little keyword heavy with the H tag and the title tag and maybe 250 words of content, and in a heavy URL with the keyword in it. How
yeah.
is that? What changes did you start to go in and make to kind of bring those pages back from not necessarily the dead, but I mean we were in a situation where we were tops for quite a bit of things. How did you identify that as an issue, and then what's maybe a few things that you changed up on site?
Yeah, we had our website had mainly our linking structure wasn't very good.
Hmm.
The navigation was pretty weak. We had a lot of duplicate links, just like five or six links on each page in the navigation to the same page. So we changed that up, and we had in our footer, we had a footer for each. There's like 3 types of bonds mainly, and so we would have a list of links for each of the subtypes of those types on each of the pages,
Hmm.
and it was just tons of exact match anchor links, and that just killed us. And so we've gone away from that. We've changed up our navigation a lot, and just deleting. You don't need a link to every page on every page. Basically, that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Basically, linking to every page, and that started hurting us. Too many links that were exact match internally, not necessarily externally.
Right.
And I think a lot of people think that Penguin is only an external penalty, but I think that's why we got caught up in that a bit, is because our internal linking was almost over optimized, and it doesn't really get talked about too much. Through all the popular SEO bloggers, they all talk about your external links, making sure those are all diverse and all that stuff. But
Right.
our anchor text diversity externally was very comparable to all the sites that started ranking ahead of us after Penguin. So that really baffled me, and I didn't really know. I was trying to understand what the algorithm was about, because I'm reading all these things about how your external links, if you have a bunch of spammy exact match links, that's why you got hit. You need to clean those up. And I look at our backlink profile, and we didn't have all those spam websites linking to us, and they were earned links. And so I think that really wasn't talked about, and it took me a while to realize that, probably like a month or two, to realize, hey, we really need to change up our external linking.
Uh-huh.
And so that's kind of one of the first things I did after Penguin.
What did you well, actually, I can understand why that might have been a problem for us, because it was a bit baffling, because we'd always been very holistic, I guess, with the approach to optimizing this site, building links. I mean, we've done it every way, going back 10 years. I mean, we used to buy a lot of links. And with this one, we never wanted to put ourselves at risk, because we wanted to grow a long-term business, and it was kind of a kick in the
Right.
nutsack to get hit a little bit by Penguin. And
Yeah.
I can see where it's a problem that a lot of other sites would have that offer up like a lot of different like not well maybe service types or like service categories or product categories where and then also offering them nationwide. I think that's a big thing, like that maybe this algorithm might have hit, because you see all those sites that would be like Pennsylvania mortgages,
Yeah.
Philadelphia mortgages, Philadelphia real estate agent. Like we used to have all those sites as well, and we weren't anywhere near like where we'd have a page and page of just exact match, location, city type, location, city, location, city. But we did probably have a little bit too much. If you're like a blind search bot coming in and seeing all these links pointing to, the top 10 bond types and the top 5 states or whatever,
Right.
we were probably being a little too aggressive, and I think that's the problem you uncovered and cleaned up. Sounds like.
Yeah, that's basically that's exactly right.
Okay.
And then when I was going through the yeah, so when I was going through all our analytics to look at our Penguin, traffic drops and, making sure where we lost traffic and all that stuff, then I noticed that we even were possibly hit a little bit by Panda. Now it like wasn't severe where Penguin probably dropped like half our traffic in a day, basically. But our leads were like just growing substantially. So I didn't really notice the traffic drop at all because our leads kept growing. But then I noticed, one of the traffic drops kind of correlated with one of the Panda updates that was published on the SEO Moz algorithm change history page. And so going through that, then I was able to realize that, hey, maybe some of our pages are too similar to each other, where we'd have like a page / other bonds, and we have another page / surety bonds, and they're both basically the same content or something like that, just worded a little differently. And I'm like, this is probably the kind of low quality, duplicate pages that Google doesn't want to show. They want to show the unique page. And so I've been going through lately and trying to identify those pages, and we've been deleting a lot of pages and kind of condensing our website instead of, I think in the 2010, 2009 mindset, it was easy to just publish a web page for a new keyword you found, and it would just rank for that keyword just by throwing it in the title tag, throwing it in the URL, throwing it in the H1, and it would just rank. And I think that practice is going away, has gone away, and people need to evolve to instead publish less pages of higher quality rather than a bunch of low quality pages. And so doing that has actually helped bring some of our traffic back as well. Even though we have less pages, we're getting more visitors.
How are you, so you mentioned deleting those pages. Are you 301ing them you're choosing one that's the best, maybe adding new content to it, maybe dropping that keyword in that you're losing perhaps, adding other bonds to the surety bonds page in some way, fleshing that page out to be 1,000 more words, 301ing it, and then building a few fresh links, or what are you doing?
Most of the pages that we're deleting, they already have like a similar page to it. So another example would be in our education center, we had these white papers that we published. So we had an auto dealer bond white paper. And but we also have an auto dealer bond page that we use to try to do lead generation from. So but they basically have the same content on them. So instead of adding new content to the auto dealer bond page, we just deleted the white paper and 301'd it in that case. But then there'd be some pages where we didn't have like a matching page for, but it was still low quality content. Like we had a fidelity bond guide that was just low quality content in our EDO center that was kind of neglected. And but we don't have a fidelity bond. We don't do fidelity bonds, so we don't have a page for lead generation for that. So we just deleted that, and no point in 301ing it to a random page. I think that would actually be worse off to that page that you 301'd it to, because Google would maybe try to see that as a little bit of manipulation or spam or something.
So this is more just cleaning up the house so that,
Exactly.
the rising tide affects all ships, right? So the pages that are possibly benefiting from these cleanups and the keywords that are not necessarily the exact ones that you're even cleaning up per se. Like
That's
our
exactly right.
top tail keywords and our long tail keywords benefit by cutting out the fat that's on the site now in this post-penguin, post-panda world.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, I think these pages were just, instead of those poor quality pages themselves just not ranking and not hurting the other pages, I think they are actually hurting the other pages and bringing the entire quality of the website down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, by your phrase, trimming the fat.
That's the title of the show now.
Okay.
Trimming the fat on Spread Effect.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing in this new world as far as changing up the strategy on link building? It seems like it's kind of really been the same strategy for the most part. Stupid video going forward, where it wasn't really broken before. A lot of like natural outreach, content creation, letting people know about it, trying to get them to link to it. Maybe the anchor text strategy has changed a little bit, where it's a little less aggressive. I mean, that's been big talk people have had on the show. It's like, don't do any exact match anchor text or do very little. I mean, is that kind of what you're seeing too?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're starting to practice. And just if it's just the URL, that's the anchor. That's more than welcome.
Right.
And then we're trying to do that. Will Reynolds from Sierra Interactive always talks about real company shit is what he talks about. So I'm trying to get the team to kind of move in that direction. I know we've already started with our new scholarship program. I mean, I know scholarships are old school SEO tactic, but
Sure.
we've really been doing very well in not doing it just for the SEO. We're actually doing it for the applicants. Like we want to build it up to have like a really strong applicants applying. So while we're getting that SEO benefit from the links, and we're also going to be incorporating social into it too. So hopefully we'll get some social, because I mean social is starting to take a lot bigger hold in this whole search game. So doing that, and once we get finished with the site cleanup, it takes a while because we have our writers going through each page one by one, rewriting the content, making it better not only for SEO but for conversion and all that stuff. So it's taking a long time to get all those pages written. But once that's done, then we'll be hopefully publishing some sort of guides and things in the education center that people will actually want to read and link to and tweet and share, Google Plus it or whatever. So
yeah, I think those guides are pretty money right now. That seems to be a bit of a trend where it's like if you can put together a 10,000 word guide that is something people can come and find and be evergreen, and you put some decent graphics on it as well. It's something that people keep coming back to again and again. I mean, in surety, it's such a small niche. Like, who's going to come and find it and tweet it? That it's going to be like the one surety guy once a month. But
right,
you got to be outside the box maybe to create something that's got a little bit more of a consumer appeal that will still bring in eyeballs that want to see it.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest parts about getting people to naturally link to you in surety is it's all a bunch of old dudes that don't blog and don't do anything.
Right.
So there's no one talking about it online except for us, basically, and other companies. There's no individuals talking about it. Okay.
So we were talking about guides, and no one in the surety industry tweets and stuff.
Right. So so the big thing we'll have to figure out is what kind of content we want to create that we can do well and provide expertise on, that people want to share, that are probably not in the surety industry. It'll have to be, like surety and green building was a big topic. So we could do a bunch of research on green building and publish some sort of guide to green building or guide for contractors for green building, and not only have the content be well, but also make it look well. I think that's a big thing. Whenever people share links and stuff, if it's supposed to be some amazing guide and I get to it and it's a 10,000 word essay, I don't want to read that. I read enough essays in school. So it's these really well formatted, dynamic pages where, as you scroll, new content comes up. It's like, or kind of like those books where you choose your own journey. Like if you want to go this, doing that online, I think that's a really cool way to consume content. For sure. Publishing that takes a long time. We don't have a lot of programming hands on deck to just crank that out for us. So that's probably one of our biggest struggles.
Makes sense. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to have it like a good designer and a developer behind you to put out that stuff. And it's smart to try to look beyond. You could say, well, I think a lot of people would say it's impossible to do that sort of content in surety because of the things we mentioned. Like, there's not much of a community online that's active or engaged. But you go a step beyond, like all the communities or businesses that surety serves, contractors, green building, mortgages. Right. You go on and on and on, and targeting those guys can make it work. So just got to step outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. One thing that we do a little bit with Spread Effect is we create personas for people, or more so we take their existing persona and try to help promote them through PR and spots on other blogs. I know that with Danielle on the Surety Bond Insider, it's one that I cite a lot when I talk to people. Mm-hmm. Building her up as a voice. How has that been an asset? How is that, with the introduction of authorship and all that stuff? How has that changed? I don't know. What's the status on that? How do you guys leverage it for benefit?
Yeah, we use her. We've been, she writes a lot of the blogs. We also have another writer now that contributes a lot, and she does very well. And so we have them both set up on the Google authorship and both publishing on our blog. And both of them, like instead of me going out and doing the post now, it's those two. They're the ones that are creating the content, getting in touch with the bloggers, and getting their name published. So we're not just publishing it's not just some random person publishing on their website. It's their author persona that is on the guest blog, and they'll link to their Google Plus profile. And I think that helps. I don't know. There's no published, people don't publish about this, but everyone speculates that, you get a guest post on, I don't know, the New York Times, and it's your author profile attached to it, then Google's going to think you're a credible writer, and they're going to take your content more seriously than publishing on some low, PR zero, just started website. And then if you're linked to that and you're on the Surety Bond blog as well, then they're going to kind of weight the blog a little higher, and not only just the blog, but hopefully the whole website gets that increased authority associated with it.
There's definitely that has to be the way it's going to work. I know that they haven't candidly come out and said that, but I don't understand what else the point would be.
Right.
In some ways. It matters who's writing it and what their credibility is, and I think a great way to do it is to start on your own site, but then to go out there, get on some of the PR3 sites, the 4 sites, the industry sites, and then try to leverage up to, writing at the big spots, at the New York Times, whatever. That's really the strategy we use. It's kind of strategy DTA uses, I guess, really, and it's kind of a merging of PR and SEO, and it doesn't have to all be for SEO. You don't really even need to get a link on the Huffington Post, more so than just become a contributor there by pitching a good article or being asked.
And the link is your authorship profile, and then that's the link for you. You don't need that anchor text necessarily.
I like that, man. I want to get away from the link world. It's too messy.
Yeah, it's got too many abilities to manipulate it, as everyone has known.
Right.
I feel like the author, someone's going to figure out how to manipulate it. You're going to create fake users or this or that, but it's just going to be so much harder work to do, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that'll help out a lot.
Yeah, I guess pretty much every update that's come in the last 10 years has made it harder. But that's all right. It's separates us from the guys in their basement just doing the spam stuff and affiliate stuff. So
Yeah,
real company shit. We went out,
yeah,
hopefully long term.
yeah,
Well, cool, man. You mentioned that they're doing a lot of the outreach and the content writing, and I think that's a good seg into the fact that you don't work on this stuff full time, although you have an understanding of it that a full time person would, and you probably contribute the way a full time person would. You're able to do that in kind of spurts and work it into a schedule of being a full time student. You were a full time
yeah.
undergrad student for the 4 years leading up to this, and now you're in dental school, which is a probably much larger commitment where you actually have to read and study and can't
Yeah,
just get
it's
by.
first time in my life I've actually had this to really study.
Right.
It's a wake up
Competitive
call.
environment. Well, how have you been able to balance that long term? Like how, I mean, this is more like a, I don't know, personal question more than a
No,
marketing question, but
I think I think it's good.
how are you able to pull that off? I mean, it takes intelligence and smarts and focus, but it also, I mean, it's not just random. Like, I don't know. Explain how you pull it off, man.
um, yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about that too much per se. I guess it just my dad when I was a kid, he always taught me time management
Hmm.
and how to, he would make me do my homework before I could do other stuff and like kind of keep a schedule and was really good at teaching me how to do that kind of stuff. And then in high school, I did my own lawn business,
Hmm.
and that took a lot of time because I was fairly successful with it for just being a high school idiot with a lawnmower and a pickup truck, So doing that and playing hockey and all these sports in high school, and I knew since eighth grade I wanted to go to dental school. So in high school, I was working really hard to make sure I got good grades. Then I don't know how much that really mattered in hindsight, but I don't know. I've been I feel like I've been doing this for so long, it just kind of comes easy to manage it all. Um, I definitely probably check my phone email a little bit more often than I should and things like that to kind of stay on top of it. But I just make sure that kind of, I don't really have a planner, but I plan stuff, if
Uh-huh.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
be
so.
like,
All right. So you
so
don't have a
yeah,
planner, but you plan stuff.
I plan stuff, but I don't have a planner.
That's
Uh,
another good headline.
yeah, my girlfriend's great at keeping a planner. I used to have one. I hate carrying a planner around. So I mean, I threw my class schedule and exam schedule in my phone, and each week I'll look ahead and say, okay, I have these 3 exams this week. I'm going to be studying this day all day. I'm going to be studying 5 hours this day, and I'm going to be studying 3 hours this day for that exam. So I'll be like, okay, then I can work. Like today, I know I can work this afternoon. So I do it, and I try to crank out as much stuff as I can when I am working, and I don't have Facebook open and other tabs, and just like I think that's a problem with a lot of people when they say they're doing stuff, they're not actually accomplishing things, and so like they're working, but there's no output.
Right. Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
so
I
I just
think
try to focus on
it's
that.
pretty simple. It's like you just don't fuck around really. Like
Yeah,
you just don't. Things need to be done, and you just do them, and it allows you to get a lot done.
yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there's times where I'll catch myself like, okay, I'm watching TV for 30 minutes or an hour and
Yeah.
nothing got done, but everyone has those little times to themselves every now and then, but I try to do that with my studying and with work and with my workouts and staying fit. Like even then, I'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna just sit at the weight room and wait 5 minutes for each person to get done with their reps so I can do my reps. I
Right.
I edit my workouts so that I can get like the most benefit in the least amount of time. And I try to do that with my studying. I'll set study hours kind of, but I never like studying for that long. So I try to get done with my studying so I don't have to study anymore.
I like it. It's a good philosophy that's already paid off
Get
from
it done.
a young age, eh? It's a good point. I mean, I think it's to bring up that it's, in your school life, in your personal life, with your fitness, and then your work life. I mean, you're the same person across all three areas, and it's almost like you just either know how to do that stuff and do it, or you don't. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like people are just born a certain way, and you were born that way, and that's why it works. And
Possibly.
people watching this can't be like, I'm going to learn to be like him. It's like you either are or you're not. So be honest with yourself. Go back to Facebook if you're not like this, and let the adults make the money here.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my mood on
I
it today,
mean,
at least.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it had to do with just how watching my parents, like how my dad does it, my mom does it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, I guess, whether you like it or not, you pick up a lot of habits from your parents.
Yeah.
And they have good time management habits, I feel. So maybe that's where I pulled those from.
Yeah. Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Kaiser today. Raised a good son. So yeah, that's the how, and the other question, which I think can bring us towards wrapping up, is the why. Like, why do you want to run a lawn business when you're in high school? There's always to make money, and that's why people I think would take a job in college, just ostensibly,
Yeah.
is because they want to make some extra cash to go to the bars and stuff and not have to rely on their parents. But it's kind of a different why, I think, for you. You're gonna eventually be a dentist. I think you're gonna be an entrepreneur in your own right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why are you interested in SEO? Why did you work on a job, and why did you create a company in high school? Why do you continue to do all this stuff when, I mean, being a full-time dentist student's a pretty fucking tough job, especially if you want to, be top of your class.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I think I said earlier that at least since eighth grade, I remember looking at a resume I wrote when I was in eighth grade. I think I was applying for like some Young Achiever Award or something, and I remember reading on my resume that it said I want to be an orthodontist.
Mm-hmm.
So I've known for a long time that dentistry is the field that I wanted to go into, and I think that gave me a huge advantage going in high school, college, and even now. So in high school, I mean, when I got my driver's license, my dad said, I'm not paying for your insurance or your gas. So that's kind of one reason why I did the lawn business. Another reason was I kind of fell into it. My neighbor just was like, hey, do you want to cut my grass? I'll pay you.
Uh-huh.
And I think I was like 14 or something. And I was like, sure. I'll make some money, I guess. And so then after the year after, I'm like, well, why don't I just try to get more neighbors to cut their lawn? I just sit on a tractor. It's not hard work or anything.
Right.
So yeah, I got some more people, and I realized that, holy crap, you can make money doing this. It's cash. Like, this is easy. And then when I was 16, I was like, okay, I really need to expand this because I want to make money and pay for gas in my car and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then by then you're wanting to take girls on dates and all that stuff, and they cost a lot of money.
That they do.
Yeah. So that's kind of what got me, into the entrepreneur mindset then.
Uh-huh.
So I knew I wanted to be dental, and now I loved being the entrepreneur mindset and building a business. And then went to college, and I guess you kind of saw that blossoming in me possibly, and so you recruited me. And at first I had no idea what SEO was. I couldn't even read articles on it and understand what it was for probably like a month before I started working. And but then once I realized what it was and how important it was going to be, I was like, I need to learn this really well, because being a dentist and running your own business, this is just going to be a huge competitive advantage
Yeah.
over the other dentists in your area. Not that we like to compete that much against each other, but just building up your own business is hard from the beginning. So any competitive advantage you can get to make sure that you succeed is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you think you've seen like how much of a competitive advantage it can be in numerous different industries, from surety to
right.
mortgages to other crap that we had going on, and
Mm-hmm.
we know that it can translate into dentistry or orthodontics. And I even have like friends that used to work with me, or we teamed up on stuff. Like one's a lawyer now, and I mean, his whole business is based off internet lead generation. And I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be the greatest at understanding like all the tactics and concepts and stuff on SEO, but I've seen it in action, and I'm sure it'll translate into the future for you. I think it's really cool that with surety, like you're able to stay with it. You have to date, and probably will going forward, because so
Yeah.
much of it does change, and like you're really going to hit the ground running eventually down the road. And
Right.
the guy down the street's going to be paying some retard like $5,000 a month, and he's not going to be doing anything, and you can just do what you've been doing for so many years for surety, and work on it an hour a day, and probably increase your bottom line $500,000 a year or something.
Right. And not even just like me necessarily working on it. I'll have enough knowledge to know who to hire and what they should be doing. And I feel like, most dentists or any health professional, they don't have any time to do their own website stuff, and they're easily kind of sold on by these big companies that charge like $80 a month to run their website and do SEO for them, when really they're not doing anything
Right.
except hosting their website for $1,200 a year, when it really only costs $100 a year to get that same service. So.
Right, yeah. You're going to be in a good position. You can go out and then whore yourself out to other dentists too.
Yeah.
Get a dental marketing platform. I mean, there's so many options.
It
Building
is.
towards the future. Well, cool, man. I mean, is there anything, what do you see, anything changing in SEO in the next year or two? Anything on the horizon that, you're, I don't know. I always kind of try to ask this question, and I know nobody
No, yeah.
knows, but I don't know. What's 2013 like? What's the big thing that you're going to be doing, or something new for the kids out there and the fans?
I think uh, I think 2013 is going to be all about authorship.
Mm.
Um, the author rank's going to, I feel like that'll be rolled out this year, that author rank algorithm that everyone talks about and hints to. I don't know when, but
So close.
and Google Plus, I think, will be a huge, huge part of that. Like, even though it's not the biggest social platform, it is Google's platform, so it's going to play a big role in search. And that's probably the majority of what will happen. I've been reading a lot about co-citation lately.
Hmm.
I feel like that's probably going to be the big new linking strategy.
I pray that it is nightly.
Yes. If you don't know what it is, look it up.
That's right. Come to Spread Effect. We'll help you. Yeah, I do hope that that's two big things that happen in the next year. I think length of content, like maybe even that bar on that being raised a lot, from used to be always get 250 words up and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe combining with like not having a lot of useless pages on your site that you're talking about internally, cleaning that up. I'd rather have one 3,000 word page than 10 250 word pages that are kind of similar or not as authority or evergreen. I think
Yeah.
that kind of seems like something that you're validating with surety bonds, and there's a lot of talk out there about. So that could come about, and yeah, man, co-citation, that would be beautiful. I would
Yeah.
like it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Google's, with Penguin and Panda, their goal is to clean up the web,
Mm-hmm.
and they want you to kind of do it for them. So I feel like it's anything that moves in the direction of cleaning up the web. That's what will be seen in 2013. You heard it here first.
That's right. Get clean with Kevin Kaiser. So I always give everybody a shirt, but I already gave you a shirt, if I'm not mistaken, right? The black
Yes.
one. Okay. So
Yes.
you'll have to wait for the new school spring line
All right.
for your thank you present for coming on and spending some time with me. It was nice to talk about surety and catch up on all that.
Yeah.
Obviously, an ongoing project we're both involved with a little bit, and
Yeah.
I like the insights on time management and stuff. I mean, I think a lot of people just are lazy pieces of
I
crap and
mean, you
don't
can
do it.
write as much as you want about it. You can talk as much as you want about it, but in the end, it's just what do you do
Right.
you just have to think about what you're doing when you're working, and if you catch yourself not actually working when you're supposed to be, then I mean that's the problem right there.
Yeah. I think we
So
should start a line of self-help books that have like 8
excellent.
words. It'll be
They'll
like
sell.
time management. Don't mess around. Think about what you're doing. $20 to me. I like it.
Hey,
All right, dude. Well, stay warm back there in the MO, and I'll talk to you soon.
all right. Cheers.
Later.